all know quite a number of people who have everything that it would take to be happy, and they are not happy because they want something else, or they want more of the same. And we all know people who have lots of misfortune, and they are deeply happy. They radiate happiness. Why? Because they're grateful.
Hello, everybody. How goes it? Welcome to this week's Noli Friends, featuring the amazing, the wonderful XinXinWong, aka Patty Honey.
Hello.
How goes it? Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Oh my god, thank you for coming on. I need to raise your volume a little. There we go.
Oh yeah.
How are you? How was your stream? I know you just came on over, but welcome.
Well, we just finished trading. We had a pretty good reclair night where we did it pretty much all in one night, so pretty good.
So is this so we're talking World of Warcraft, which I have, my extensive knowledge of World of Warcraft is the South Park episode from like over a decade ago. That's it. So what is it as this might be a dumb question, and maybe you can even just answer in the simplest way possible, but you pretty much told me like it was like at this time or like way earlier because you had raids. The only raids I know of is like Twitch raids. So like what is a raid in World of Warcraft?
So a raid is essentially PvE. Um, so it's like a group of players that fight against like a scripted NPC or mob. And so we raid Mythic, which is a set roster of 20 people. So 20 nerds just get together and try to kill these like hard bosses.
Oh, we love that. Also, before we get too far into it, thank you so much for this 6 months. Thank you. That was really
Oh
nice of
yeah,
you.
no problem.
Oh my. But yeah, so hello, Mr. Retro. So the big theme here is, at least of this podcast, is like we'll I'm sure we'll talk about Keeves at some point. We'll probably talk about it in the beginning just to get out of the way, but I like to like know about everyone's interests outside of keyboards because I don't think there's a single person in this hobby that doesn't have some other type of like secondary or actually like their like own personal like more important hobby than keyboards. Um, but before we get into, because I have two things I want to talk about before we get into those, how did you find your way into keyboards? Because that's how we met
Um,
back in I think it was like probably like January or February. I feel like we became friends, something like that.
yeah. So I got an ad for a drop keyboard, and I didn't realize that keyboards could be so like pretty. And so I looked at drop, and that's kind of how I like started delving more into it. I saw that they had DSA Astrologies, and
That
so
I think that got a lot of people into the hobby. I remember when that
yeah,
set like came out.
yeah. So that was actually my first set, and then whenever I got the drop keyboard, I don't remember which one it was, but I like looked at it with DSA Astrologies. It was like this doesn't really match because it's like gray. So I went on the hunt for like a white RGB keyboard, which is like surprisingly pretty hard to find. Like all white. Something similar to like a full size Foco. Um, but after searching, I found the Warmier.
Ooh,
Um, yeah, so that was like my daily driver for a few months, but
what
then
what switches?
banana splits.
Oh wow, so you got like a hot. So that was like a legit Warrior too.
Yeah, I found Drop, and then I found Key Company, and I actually bought into the banana switches before they were popular. Such a hipster, right? But it was basically they limited the amount that you could buy at first, but then they just weren't selling out. And so I got lucky and I was able to buy like a lot then. And then from there, this is kind of gross, but my cat threw up on my keyboard.
Oh, it's brutal.
Yeah, like a giant hairball right in the middle of my Warmier. I like contacted my friend who I knew was really into keyboards. I was crying. I was like, this is my first keyboard and there's cat throw up. What do I do?
What is this timeline like? When is this?
This was like November last year.
Got it.
Yeah,
Brutal.
and from there, I took apart the keyboard. I cleaned the PCB. I cleaned the switches, all from hand. And that's kind of like my first, like,
Custom like.
real, yeah. That's like when I learned how to like take apart switches, how like PCBs worked, and when I was doing it, I was like, this is fun. I mean, it sucked, but it was also like that was like this is fun.
It's like a definite like trial by fire.
Yeah.
And I feel like I think everyone finds drop first, and then you either go TKC or KBD fans. I went KBD fans,
Oh,
and
nah.
it was
The
like you go
shipping
one.
scared me.
I I got mine. It was literally like the end of March. It was like COVID just happened when like even the Amazon Prime was taking a month and a half to ship. And I remember going on websites like, is KBD? I remember going like Reddit like, is KBD fans legit? And everyone's like, yeah, it's legit, dude. You're good. And like, yeah, like how you said, like find like a white RGB K. Like I remember seeing like Reddit posts on like MK. It's like how people don't really like RGB in the mech keyboard community. I'm like, what do you mean you don't like RGB? I'm like, that's the whole point. I didn't think there was anything else important about a keyboard, like as long as it had pretty colors.
Yeah, same. And I was also really big into like the full size as well,
Oh yeah,
but
until it
I
was
could not find
impossible.
anything. Yeah, it was just too hard.
They're like they're kind of making like a comeback this like past couple months. I'm like stoked to see it because I still like having an art at least for like editing. And you do web design, right?
Yeah, I'm a
So I
web
feel
dev.
there has to be like a lot of this that is so out of my like wheelhouse, but I feel like there has to be like a lot of implications to like have a number pad ready to go for something for a job like that.
So I do more design, so it's not as like I don't need it as much. I think if I were to do like more back end and programming stuff, for sure. For example, my boyfriend Connor, he is a software developer, and he literally uses every single key. And he's like, I need numpad. I need all of it. It's just to me, it was just like, okay, whatever.
I
It's
no,
Go ahead.
please.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, it's so hard when I want to build customs for people, and the first thing they say, like, has to be full size with numpad. I'm just like,
Yep.
oh god.
every every friend I've talked to now they've like gotten a little more accustomed. They kind of like get it now that it's been a while. But at first they're like, yeah, like money's no option. I want a full size keyboard, number pad, and all. I'm like, it's probably gonna be like $400, the absolute cheapest if we're lucky. He's like, money is now an option, or
Yeah.
money is now a problem. But there's definitely been like at least for me like I didn't realize I've gotten very used to not having a number pad, just like using a custom for the last year and a half now. Um, and now that I'm back at work full time, it's crazy. I forgot how nice because I used the keyboard they gave me. I'm like, oh wow, I actually use this all the time. Like it's so much faster for like at least for like editing. I like find myself using it way more.
Are you gonna
Um,
bring your keyboard home and modify it?
they won't let me. I'm literally selling it now. I built a Hex 6C exclusively for work and I brought it in. They're like, you can't use this. We don't know where this came from. Like, you're gonna put malware on our computers. I'm like, are you serious? And they're like,
Wait, really?
they're like, if you want, we can budget you, and you can like buy the parts and just build it again. I'm like, I don't think you get how much this costs.
Oh my gosh.
So I wasn't allowed to yeah, no, I wasn't allowed to use that keyboard, so I'm just offloading it now because I don't need a. I bought the balance. Like that was like, the balance is like the one I'm psyched for to be like my at-home keyboard, like daily driver for the foreseeable future until something else cool comes out. Um, and I'd rather have that than the Hex because it's smaller.
Yeah,
But
I skip balance, but I'm trying to get Ibis.
I don't know if then. Do I know that one?
That one's by Heine.
If someone has a link and wants to throw it in chat for that board, please do. Um, but I guess to go this is one of two things. Actually, I'll ask this and then we can go on to the other hobbies. But do you have a favorite build that you've done so far? You've done some pretty awesome builds so far. Your sound tests are some of my favorite. Um, but
Thank
do you?
you.
Oh, I remember this board. I do remember. I was trying to decide between this, the balance, and then there's one other one that I can't remember that kind of looks like the SARS by Zamuman, but I ended up going with the balance instead because I liked the navy and the silver. Um, but is there like a particular board at least like that you can remember that you're like this is like without a doubt my favorite, or like one you enjoyed building the most?
Building probably the Jelly Epoch. Like the Jelly Epoch was such a unique build experience, and getting to type on it afterwards, I had like extreme FOMO that like I didn't get one for myself, but
I think
yeah,
I think a lot of people, and at least like a lot of people like I've talked to in the hobby are like, damn it, I wish I got an epoch. Like the Jelly Epoch is like, I failed to hear a bad sounding sound test with that board.
yeah. So I actually got two Jelly Epochs.
You dog.
Well, so I got one, Connor got one. I managed to snag the Sage one but I was buying it for my sister's fiance because he wanted a custom, and then I told Connor, well, can you get me a green one too? So that one will be for me. But then he was not able to get a sage. He got a dewdrop. And then one of my friends who went in on the jelly, like, missed it completely. Really wanted dewdrop. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not too set on the dewdrop colors. So if you want, I'll sell it to you. And so that's what happened to my second jelly.
The sage was my personal favorite one. That was a really that was a gorgeous board. I
Oh, yeah.
I think it was Mr. VR's or Mr. Domo's. I don't remember whose it was. I tried it when I met some people for KBBQ a few weeks ago, and I'm like typing on. I'm like, fuck, I get the hype now.
Yeah, it's like Mech Market going for like $1,000 at one point. I don't know
It's
if it's still like that.
it's insane. Whatever it is, it's very expensive. I was looking at it a while ago, and I remember looking at the price. I'm like, damn it, no. I feel like they have to run.
Yeah.
I remember when it ran. I'm like, I for some reason didn't think it was gonna be like that hype of a board, and then like the group I happened, I'm like, okay, I take it back. I guess this is a very hype board. Like I didn't think it was like gonna be sought after, and I was completely wrong.
There was a lot of hype around it, especially since the Voice 65 was, I
It
guess,
was
revered as.
Alabs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Voice 65, the sale was like a complete mess. But then when people got their board, they're like, oh, this is a pretty, like, legit board. And so when they announced the Jelly Epoch, it was like all the people who couldn't get Voice, like,
Jump to
added
that.
on. Yeah.
Do you remember what you built with them?
Penguins from Kinetic Labs.
How'd you like those?
Um, oh god, how many have flamed? I don't like tactiles. I like linears.
That's fair.
So it wasn't.
It was okay to you.
Yeah, it was just okay.
I'm building. I'm gonna be using them in a rebuild soon. I've had them for literally like 9 months at this point, and I'm like, I need to use them in a build soon. It's been too long.
It's like interesting because whenever I give my friends like a switch tester to see like which switches they like, people typically gravitate towards the penguins. I'm not sure why.
I think because everyone likes browns and they're like tactile.
Yeah,
Everyone
maybe.
everyone who's not into the hobby likes browns. I swear.
Yeah, but that was my favorite build. But my favorite like board of all time is the Arctangent Design 03.
Hey, shut up, Kool-Aid Papa.
It's like my favorite board to type on. I want to build more. Um,
They're fun boards. I
yeah.
have my one. It's like it's bad. I use it for display more than anything because I usually like rotate between like whatever build I board that week or whatever board I build that week. Um, I love that board though.
You have the Soot Spirit one, right?
Yeah, he made that one. I was like talking with him back in like September. It took like 4 or 5 months to get that board to me, I think. But we were like
Oh,
playing that
dang.
for a while. That was a custom one, but that's like I'm obsessed with that board. Susu Atari just lives on it. That's pretty much how we'll be going.
Yeah, I saw it and I was like, oh my god.
I think Janice reached out to
Oh,
him
yeah.
after and was like, "Can you do this for me?" And he's like, "Yeah,
Hers is
absolutely."
really cute.
That was a really cute board. Ah, I get so excited when I see people buying Kool-Aid boards. I like him a lot. He's my buddy. He absolutely trolls me and just makes fun of me whenever we talk, but he's my boy.
He's like
Um,
super nice.
he's really nice. He's close to me. He's in Connecticut. I'm trying to convince him to come to New York.
I don't know
Um,
how far that is from each other.
it's like a few hours. It's not like
Okay.
it's doable, but it's not convenient either.
Hmm.
You're in Texas, correct?
Yeah.
I want to like if you like where would you say to go to Texas if some like in Texas if someone's never been?
Probably Austin, but I'm also like super biased. I
Are you
think it
from
depends
Austin?
on. Yeah,
If
I was born and raised in Austin, so.
okay. I've always wanted to go to Austin city limits like really bad, but I want to like get like on a job. I don't want to pay to go. I want to get sent there to like do work.
Yeah, so ACL, I pretty much went like 7 years in a row, and then whenever I moved away, I just It's a lot. It's a
Hmm.
lot. Music festivals are a lot for me.
They're kind of like a lot for a lot of people. Where's is South by Southwest in Austin as well?
Yep, we have South by Southwest and ACL.
Have you been to South by Southwest at all?
I have, yeah. It's kind of funny because South by Southwest is kind of like a special place in my heart because that's actually how I got my first job outside of college.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was volunteering for this like gaming, like South by Southwest gaming, and one of the coordinators offered me a job after like my volunteer work, I guess.
Oh wait, that's so cool. That's actually
Yeah.
awesome. I've that's what I meant to say, not Austin City Limits. South by Southwest is like where I've always wanted to go for years, but I want to like go there for work.
Yeah,
I
for
just
like
gotta figure
press,
that.
right?
Yeah, I gotta figure that part out. Um, it's always cool. I remember. I think my favorite one. It was like Mumford and Sons played at this like bar in like back in like 2009 or 10 before they were like. I don't think the first album was out yet, and they were playing to like 25 people.
Oh, dang.
It's like filmed on like someone's like iPhone 1. Like the quality's so bad, but it's just really interesting to see like now. Um, but was that the job you got? Was that in web dev or is that something you got into later on?
So it was technically a position for anything like technology related because it was a startup. So they basically needed like a jack of all trades. And so making websites was one of the things they needed. So pretty much taught myself and made the website for them while doing other things.
Is that what you went to school for?
No, I went to school for biology research.
And here we are,
Yeah,
keeps
right.
keeping World of Warcraft streamer and a web dev.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I ended
So
up not even using my degree.
I think that goes for a lot of people though, but it works out. Did
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I didn't have anything.
Did did you like realize like at the time like oh I could do this like did you like realize like this is probably gonna become a substantial part of my future, or was it kind of just like at the time like this is just gonna be like a side gig for now to make some money?
For streaming or for
Oh, I'm sorry
keyboard?
for actually for streaming and for let's start with like the web dev side, like when you got that job, I guess. Like how did like did you like what was like it like for you? Like did you realize like this is probably gonna be my career for a while, or did you think it was gonna be like a temporary thing?
So one of the driving reasons why I decided to go for the job is because at the time, my boyfriend was also in school for web dev. And so since we were moving, or since I was offered the job, I thought to myself, like, this is a good way for both him and I to like learn more about web dev since the expectation was like kind of low because it was a startup. And so it was essentially like an entry level job for a pretty good paying job. And so um, I I always knew I was gonna maybe do something tech related because at the time I was gonna go into research, but
Mm.
the more I did like my research classes and my studies, I was like, I don't know if this is like something I want to do. So when the opportunity came up for something completely new, and it was okay that I didn't know anything as long as I was willing to learn, like they were willing to like pay for classes and whatnot. That's when I was like, okay, well, since I don't really want to do research, at least I'll have this degree. I'll try this out, and then if things work out, great. If they don't, at least I have my degree to fall back on.
And it works out too, like especially when it comes to like positions where they're willing to pay for you to learn more. It's almost like one of those things like what do you have to lose? Like might as well I enjoy it, let's take a shot at it, you know? And it seems to have worked out pretty well
Yeah.
for you.
For the most part, I think like the more I do it, the more I realize like there are more specific fields I'd rather go into. Cause like within web dev, there's like you can go into like the tinier niches, and I'd rather do web design, which isn't so much coding, but more so like designing how the page looks like,
Sure.
and then sending it to someone to then like code it and
Code.
make it happen. Yeah.
That's fun. They're not quite me, but on my marketing team that I'm a part of, they're like working. That's exactly what they're doing, like laying it out and designing to send off to make someone else to make it work.
Yeah, like you can also go into like UI, UX, and there's just like all different kinds. And with web dev, there's also like SEO, SEM, which is like search engine optimization
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. And so there's actually jobs that hire just for that. But that wasn't something I wanted to do.
That's someone on my team just joined for that. I didn't even know those position. I didn't even know that was a thing. I was kind of confused on what a
Yeah.
job was at first. Um, it's so interesting though. I don't know if I'm allowed to ask. Is there like a certain like project you've worked on so far that you're like one either super proud of or you think is really cool?
I did a animal shelter, like a local animal shelter, website for this like lady. She, like, I guess her husband passed away, and she just like
Oh,
adopted like animals to cope and whatnot. And then eventually she like sold her house and just bought this like big piece of land and wanted to open, just like an animal shelter. And so that was probably the coolest project I've worked on. But typically, the websites I make are just um, so my clients went up significantly during COVID because all these like small mom and pop restaurants, if you didn't have like online ordering set up,
came to you.
basically, yeah. So they came to me and I like just helped them set up. And it was like it's like a 2 hour process. So it's just like paycheck right then and there, and it's just like it.
Crank it out.
Yeah. So
Did you are you freelance or do you work for you don't have to state your a company you work for, but do you work for like an overarching company or is it all freelance work?
it's freelance. Yeah.
Do you like that?
Um.
Like sort of being your own boss?
Um. I like being my own boss, but I don't necessarily like freelance because sometimes the clients are, interesting. Um, it's not
I'm
like
sure
I can just direct them to someone else. It's kind of like,
you are the someone else.
yeah. Um, and that's whenever they have like certain expectations about the ways like certain things work. So one of the biggest things is whenever people come to me and they're like, well, I don't really know what I want. And so I ask them more questions and they still don't really know. So I'm like, okay, I make a few mock ups and then all of a sudden they know what they want. And
Yeah,
that's
it's
like,
the most inconvenient times too.
yeah. Or like they'll want a website made from scratch. And then I tell them, yeah, that's fine. I'm more than willing to do that. But like with the way, for example, like a storefront works, right? It's easier to just, use the tools that are already made, right? But they want like custom build. I'm like, well, you realize that you will have to maintain this, like you will have to do all of it. Um, and then that's when they kind of like back out
They
because
like almost don't realize like what they're signing up for.
yeah, because I tell them like, I'm more than willing to maintain it for you, but you gotta pay, you know. Like
Like
I'm
this
not
isn't a
just gonna
free
do it.
thing.
Yeah, but they're under the impression that I will just like drop everything and like fix their website and like do everything for them. I'm like, that's not really what I do unless you're willing to pay me for it. So
Like
I
are
do
you
have a
like
couple. Go ahead.
oh no, I was just like that they're essentially like at that point like you are like they're making you an employee of, under their business to like have you like readily available like that.
Yeah, and they don't understand that. They think when someone builds your website, it's like pretty much like I will do everything for them like all the time. And it's just like, not
No.
really. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure that has to get frustrating at times, but I mean, there's always got to be good clients too. I feel like.
Oh yeah, like there are some clients that I've made like amazing connections with. There's this one restaurant where I pretty much just get free stuff from because they're like, oh, she like helped us do online ordering. So anytime I go there, like they give me free stuff, and so
That's nice.
yeah.
See, there are good people. Hello, Mr. Ozzy. Um, but I guess kind of leading into the second part of this, uh, I know obviously like with web dev, have you ever been interested? I know you're very interested in gaming. Is there like anything with like, have you ever like thought about trying to get like the esports realm of like web dev or anything like that, or is it kind of like video games are a separate thing?
Um, you want the dark honest answer or the PC answer?
Oh, it's 11 p.m. You
Uh,
know which one I want.
uh. So my friend actually went pro in esports,
Ooh,
and
what game?
this League of Legends.
Gotcha.
So
That game still
he,
confuses me.
I don't play it anymore, but he was in LCS. He's on Dignitas. Kiwi Kid, some of you guys might know him. He was my collegiate. He was a friend from college. I knew him before he got famous, and that kind of like opened the realm of like esports to me. And I thought it was gonna be awesome. I thought that was like something I wanted to do because I always wanted to do something with gaming, but the esports world at the time was very young. Is what I yeah. It's like it's very young, and so there's just a lot of not good stuff that I didn't really want to be a part of. So after being exposed through him to like the esports world, I just I
Also, if
decided
there's
to take
any,
a step back.
also feel free if there's anything like you'd rather not talk about, like you are more than welcome to say and not say whatever you feel comfortable saying.
Oh, I just don't know what like your audience is like, so I was trying to be
Degens,
careful.
degens. There, my audience is whoever's here to listen. I'm not too. We're here for honesty. Like I said, it's whatever you're comfortable saying. Don't worry about the audience. There's a fantastic mixture here.
So I think with esports at the time, which was like many years back, it was hard to distinguish business from play. And so it was, for example, I went to an after party and it was just like two pro players trying to see like how many girls they can make out with. And it was almost like a cesspool of just like trying to sleep around and make your connections that way. It was a
In
very,
esports, it's so weird though. Like, what a weird
I
way to
mean,
like.
I mean, they're all young because you
Yeah.
you look at pro players, they're like what, like
Yeah, like 19,
19.
20. Yeah.
Yeah. And the managers are almost the same way because like esports at the time wasn't like a big thing. It wasn't like recognized. And so it was very dark. It was like if you wanted to move up, there's a good chance you might have to like suck up. So being exposed to that,
Message received.
yeah, so being exposed to
It.
that was kind of like I don't know if I'm quite comfortable doing that. Of course, that's not saying like the successful people in esports had to do that, but it was just like a very common thing.
I mean, in all seriousness, like one, like respect to you for knowing like boundaries and separating that, and like not just like leaning into it because like you felt like you had to. Like
I
that's.
mean, it made me uncomfortable.
I can imagine.
It's like you have these players that you look up to, that you respect, and all of a sudden they're drunk coming on to you. And like, I had a boyfriend at the time, and it's like, oh my God, like, what do I do? And so, I mean, of course, this was my experience. So it's just kind of dark. But at that time, that's when I knew, like, I don't want to do esports. No, thank you.
I mean, with parties like that, and if you're 100% not the only one. It's.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And it's
But
like, I don't drink. So I was like doubly safe, right? But, it's, yeah.
there's weird one strange people out there, so it's good you read like know how to read the room in a sense and get out of situations like that where you're obviously uncomfortable and don't feel I guess, safe.
Yeah, and it's like these after parties. It's like a very common thing, and people look forward to it because they can like let loose. But personally, it's just like not my area. It's just not my jam, you know.
That's fair. But on the more positive side of things, I am curious because you are the most prominent World of Warcraft player in the keyboard community at the very least. I've tuned in. I'll lurk in your streams. I have no idea what's going on, but what I guess like how did you get into World of Warcraft gaming? Was it always World of Warcraft? Because that game's been around for like
No.
I feel like as long as we've been for like almost as long as like the internet's been a thing. Well, at least like
Yeah, so
gaming on the internet.
World of Warcraft, I didn't get into it until like it was like fairly recently actually. Um I've always been like an avid gamer though. I played like the old school Pokemon, Zeldas, Kirby's.
Good taste.
Um yeah, like the PlayStation games like Chrono Cross, the original Final Fantasies, stuff like that. And I never played a subscription based game on the PC because I didn't have a PC. Like the first PC game I played was like Neopets, if you can call that PC game. Um
I can never
and
figure out
then
Neopets. I definitely made like multiple accounts, and they're just like those poor guys are just rotting away because I just left them and didn't know what to do.
yeah. I played the shit out of Neopets, but other than
Did you,
that,
did you ever do
right
Webkins?
after, no.
Good.
I don't know.
I had one Webkins. I did have one. It was like you buy stuffed animals for like $25, but you get a code that lets you
Oh
make
my
it the
god.
pet online. It was such a scam.
I
It was like
did
a
Tamagotchis.
Tamagotchis. Wow. I, I'm gonna let you get back to this, but I feel like this is because I'm never gonna get another chance to talk about Tamagotchis on this podcast. I wanted one so bad, and my friend let me borrow his. This is like elementary school. My mom got so mad that I took some other kid. I didn't take it, but like she's like, "Why are you bothering other kids' toys? Like now you have to take care of this thing. Like this is like this toy is your responsibility. Like not the pet itself, but like more of me. Like don't lose this Tamagotchi, or I'm gonna have to buy this kid a new one. I'm gonna be pissed."
Oh my
So she,
gosh.
the second she found that I took it, was on a Friday. She took it, put it on top of the fridge, and gave it back to me on Monday morning to give back to him. She's like, "Don't ever do that again." He
Oh my
died.
god.
I'm like, "Mom, you can't." I'm like, "I need to take care of it. It's gonna die." And she's like, "I don't care." She's like, "You can get a new one."
Oh no.
So that kid's Tamagotchi died.
Was he mad?
I don't think so. I think he laughed. Like
Oh.
we were probably like 8 years old, maybe like 7. I don't remember him being mad. I feel like the story would have been a lot more tragic if that was the case. He did not let me borrow his Tamagotchi again. Not that I asked, but
Oh no.
um, you were saying that I'm sorry. You played like the classics. You played like Neopets was your first online game.
Yeah, and then my second PC game after that was League of Legends. So I was not a PC gamer like whatsoever. And then I didn't start WoW until college, around the end of college, because like I had a job and I could actually afford the subscription. But in terms of like WoW veterans, I'm actually like fairly new. And so it's like pretty interesting 'cause sometimes whenever we recruit and do like interviews for applicants, they'll say like, "Oh, I played back in vanilla when I was like 7 years old," and like tell me about all these cool fights. And I'm sitting here like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I
So
guess
I'm
like
actually
if you
go ahead.
sorry, I don't mean to keep interrupting. Like this game, like some people have been playing this game longer than some people in my chat are probably have been alive. Like
Oh yeah, for
the game's like
sure.
the game's like 15 years old now. I think probably more, probably older. I could be underestimating that one, but
Yeah, it's been along for a really long time. The reason I keep playing it is because I'm like really invested in my guild. Not so much the game itself. Like game is fun because I like, challenging content, but the reason I've stuck with it for so long is because of my guild.
the guild is that essentially like I guess is your team a fair way of putting it? Like your
Yeah.
clan.
hmm
And are these like people? I guess like they're set like when you say like you're interviewing people, is that for your guild?
Yeah, it's for a raid spot. So you know how we have 20 for the raid?
Sure.
It's for people that are trying to get one of the 20 spots.
Interesting. Are
Hmm.
these like? Do you know any of these people like outside of the game, or is it all kind of like people you've met through World of Warcraft and online?
It's pretty much all online, and I've met them like after, but
It
yeah,
was
pretty
never like
much all
someone you knew
online.
before. It was like not like people like you knew from before that played World of Warcraft like in person or IRL or anything like that.
No, not IRL. Actually, growing up, not many people knew I played video games.
Hmm.
Um, I kept that pretty hidden.
Are there? Do you have any favorite games like outside? I don't. Is World of Warcraft your favorite game?
No, it's not.
What are your favorite games? Do you have like a number one like all time?
mm, it's probably Zelda. It's either the time or the season one. I can't really decide. Chrono Cross
Wait, like the
and
game. Wait, like the Game Boy, like Oracle of. It's
yeah,
like Oracle of Seasons.
yeah. They had like a season
Oh
and a
my
time one.
My God, I had Oracle of Seasons. No one talks about that game. I could never. I had it when I was like 5, and I have no idea. Had no idea how to beat it, so I would play the opening over and over.
Oh,
Like that. That is like you unlocked a part of my brain. Like I forget that game exists.
yeah. It was really fun. I played both, and then I like played it over and over again.
That's interesting.
Um,
It's your favorite. I don't think I've ever met someone. Like I know a lot of people that know about those games, but I've never met someone who's their favorite.
yeah, it's just it has a very special place in my heart.
That's fair.
And then
Any other
same
games
with
though?
Chrono Cross. Maybe Binding of Isaac. I probably have the most hours in that one
Is
after
it?
WoW.
That's a game like based off like the comic, right? Like the circle of like it was like the circle of chaos with him, right? I could be wrong. Could be a different game.
Uh, so Binding of Isaac, you know Bible Thump, the emo?
Yes.
That's where it's from.
Okay.
Binding of Isaac, but there are a lot of like biblical references in the game,
Hmm.
so maybe.
Interesting. I wanted to play. Ah, there was one. It's like you can't like every decision you make changes the game, and I can't remember what it was called. It's not Binding of Isaac, but it's.
There are a lot
Ah,
of games like that. Was it more like a visual novel?
yeah, it's an indie game for sure. I can't remember what it was.
Maybe.
It was. It was something. It looked interesting. I gotta look. It's one of those games like if I sit and remember it, we'll be here for an hour, and then the second I end the stream, it's gonna hit me like a brick wall, and I'm gonna be pissed. Liskits, honey. Thank you for the rate of 35. Guys, welcome.
Hello, Liz.
This is I'm Manoli. If you guys don't know, I build keyboards. This is Miss Patty. She also builds keyboards, and we're talking about keyboards and video games and web development, and people being weirdos. It's great. But thank you for the raid, Liz. But ooh, that is interesting though. I wasn't like I don't know. I'm still like thinking about Oracle of Seasons and Oracle of Ages like being like the favorites of the game. That's awesome.
They're so good. If I would go back and replay them. I
I'm
really would.
surprised. That's like one of those ones like I feel like kind of like quietly deserves a remake. Like we
Yeah,
got the
I
Link's
would agree.
Awakening on the Switch, which I also still haven't beaten. Cause I don't know. I have like 4 video games over this last year that I've started and have not finished. Like at
Oh,
least
really?
at least 4, and like you think with like all the time with quarantine, like you'd almost have more time to play. No, I just have not gotten to finishing at least like 4 or 5 video games.
I've played so many video games. I can't. Like, my Steam library has like more than 400 games in it.
My Steam library is like very humbly small, and I think it's a good thing because I think if I dive too deep into it, it's just gonna be an absolute problem. 400, sheesh.
Yeah, I used to be a variety game streamer, and so
I remember you playing different games. It wasn't just. Are you like exclusively WoW now?
it's like WoW and keyboard because right now we're doing progression, but
Hmm.
after we clear the WoW raid, then I have a lot more time because we raid less. And that's when I fill the time with variety games.
What like is there any specific games that you really want to stream?
Mm, there's this one horror game called Lamentum. It's a pixel horror game. It's pretty good. I've been waiting for it to come out for a while. Eastward, I think that's what it's called. Also been waiting for that. There's a couple others on my
RuneScape.
playlist. No, not RuneScape. No, no.
I I joined someone in the keyboard. I don't remember who it was. Someone in the keyboard hobby was streaming RuneScape, and I joined. I'm like, is this the fucking like starting island where like where you bake bread and make an axe and like that's it? And it hit me with way too much nostalgia. Um, but I think so you're like in like the indie games, like those games like I know like Binding of Isaac is a little more like niche. Like if you're not, I feel like if you're not really into games, you don't really know of like that one.
Yeah, there's like certain games that I can play and can't play. So I can't play first person shooters.
Okay.
Because I get really bad motion sickness. So it's pretty much it has to be like 2D. And so that limits me from like a lot of games. And so I like psychological horror games.
I was about to ask if you're like into horror because I'm the
Yeah.
complete opposite. I am a baby. I hate horror. Anything
I don't
scary does not
like
work for
playing
me.
horror. I don't like playing horror. I like watching people play horror, but the horror games that I can play, I have to like carefully vet. Like, do you know BioShock?
Okay, so I love that's actually like BioShock, like the series as a whole, is in my top three.
Okay, I pretty much broke a controller. Like I got so scared from BioShock because I opened a locker trying to like loot something and like a dead body flew out and it's just like whoo, the controller went up in the air, fell on the ground and broke. So it's like I get easily scared, but I try.
The first one, like specifically the first time you play it, is like like you need to play with the lights on if you don't like scary things. Like that game is scary. The third one is like the like it's scary, but like you can handle it because like the whole game is daylight.
Yeah, like when I first started playing BioShock, I was like, "Did you guys fool me? Is this actually a horror game?" And they're like, "No, no, no, just keep playing. It's fine."
Oh, don't worry, get through the intro.
Yeah.
That game, that was like one game I remember on when I had PS3. I learned you can download demos for free, and I didn't have like a ton of games at the time. And obviously, like when you like bought a game when you were like in like middle school, early high school, like, that was like that was a serious decision paying $60 for a video game.
Yeah.
And so I would download demos. I played the Bioshock demo at least 20 times. Like I loved that demo, and like the second I bought the game, I think I played Bioshock at least 4 times. I think that is they were like talking about making a movie for it. I think with like is it Guillermo del Toro's the director or Benicio? I think Guillermo.
I have no
He
idea.
he was supposed anyway. They were supposed to make it, and they couldn't agree on the budget, so they trashed the idea because he needed a bigger budget to do it right, and they said
Oh
no.
no.
That was years ago. I remember I was like keeping up for like a couple of years on that one, and then I realized I'm like it's just not happening.
It's kind of weird when video games get made into movies. Like one that really messed with me was the Silent Hill movie.
I know. See, like, I've seen like 4 scary movies, and they're not like even scary movies.
Oh, okay.
I'm that kind of person. Like now at 26, I will fear for my life that I don't know. Jason's gonna like just ravage through my apartment.
Yeah, I love scary movies. Scary games, it's like I really have to vet through them before I play them because I will end up breaking something.
Is it because like movies like you're just sitting and watching, you don't have any like you don't have any secondary responsibilities like controlling the character?
Yeah, like I can cover my eyes and the person will still move. I cover my eyes when I'm playing a game. It's like my character won't move. I can't progress the story. So it's like I'm forced to throw myself in it.
It's I think see like with the cover your eyes. I think the scariest thing I've watched in recent time, willingly, was is it Hill House? What was the show on Netflix? Haunting at Hill House.
Oh, I know you're the
It was
one
the
with like
short
the
story.
family.
Yeah,
Oh, the short
and
story one, yeah.
it was it was a short series. It was like apparently they're coming out the season 2. I think it was like 8 episodes. Did they already come out with the season 2? They might have. I have no idea. There was anyway. I watched that willingly because I heard the story was so good, and it was. I really liked it. there was a scene. I'll never forget this. This is when I was still living at home. I hadn't moved to New York yet. And I was in my bedroom, and my bedroom is like directly next door to my sister. Like we knock and like call each other through the walls. Like we don't like we'll just talk through the walls. It's like paper thin. I'm watching the show, and there was this one jump scare that was so bad. I literally screamed Jesus, slapped my headphones off my head, and like almost fell back in my chair. And my sister just calls me. She's like, "Dude, are you good?" And I'm like, "Define good," because I'm having a mild panic attack, but we're just rolling with it right now. It's I just like realized like I can't do this. It's just not for me. I finished the show
Yeah.
though.
I think there's definitely a difference between like very tasteful jump scares and like cheap jump scares. So
This one, I'll give it tasteful, whatever I think that means. I feel like that's a very like objective question or at least opinion, but uh but my closing questions that I've been wanting to ask these. So, is it one dog and two cats?
it's one dog and three cats.
One dog and three cats. Your dog is my favorite thing ever, besides Edward.
Yeah, she's the favorite for a lot of people.
What what is her name again?
Ginkgo, like ginkgo
Ginkgo.
leaf.
The I have one. I've told you about this. I think I've told you in like your chat maybe, but specifically it was like after you gave her a bath, she just looked pissed, like gorilla, like bodied up in the doorway, like you wouldn't be able to move her if you wanted to.
Yeah, this is her gorilla stance.
She
She's
did a
like
lot.
slouched over, like pissed off, glaring.
Oh my god, does she do that a lot?
Yeah, actually, when she's like pissed off, she sighs a lot. So you'll hear her look at you and go. It's really funny.
How old is she?
She is 2, but she's turning 3 in December.
Oh, so she's still like a baby though. Like,
Yeah.
did you get her from a puppy?
Yeah, I did. When
Uh,
she was 12 weeks. Yeah.
Oh my god! And you have three, and so do like are all the three cats like distinctive personalities, or are they all like kind of their own thing? 'Cause I know you have one, which I don't have a chair that could handle it, but I'm jealous that you're like I thought it was a pillow for like the entire stream. You're like, oh by the way, this is my cat, and you just turned your head, because she liked to sit on top of your like the
was
head
it
of
the
your
white
chair.
one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably Cosmo. So I have 3. I have Miso, Cosmo, and Kilo.
You like O's a lot.
Yeah, all my pets end with O.
Was that on purpose or did it happen by
Yeah,
accident?
on purpose. On purpose.
Was it like the plan from the get go, or was it like you realized by the second one you're like, I guess we're doing this?
Well, so the first one, Kilo, that was just I knew she's gonna be fat, so I named her Kilo because she's gonna weigh a kilo. Yeah,
You
and
just
then
knew.
yeah,
Is she fat?
no, she's actually one of the skinniest. But I figured my first cat I was gonna like overfeed her, like spoil her. So it's like, well, she's gonna weigh a kilo. And then Miso, I named her after Katamari. Have you ever played that game?
I never played it, but I know it. It was like one of those games I remember as a kid on like PS2, I think, right?
Yeah.
Is it the rolling game?
Mm-hmm.
That's like one of those obscure games from like my memory that I'm like, I will never play this, but it looks interesting. Like
Yeah,
there's a
so
lot of those.
there's a character on there, one of the cousins named Miso, who was like my favorite character. And at the time, I didn't really know what to name her, but my cousin had made me like this little felt like cutout of Miso.
Hmm.
And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna name her Miso. And then pretty much from then on out, I'm like, well, I have Kilo, I have Miso, so let's just name all my pets O's from here on out.
Is Kinko the latest edition?
Yeah. Hmm.
Is Cosmo from Fairly Odd Parents, or is that a different thing?
Yeah, from Fairly Odd Parents,
Okay,
exactly.
because it's Cosmo and Wanda are exclusively like I'll hear those names in other shows, and I just hope they realize they're being compared to a kid's cartoon about fairies. Like it is the first thing that goes in my mind when I hear either of those names.
Yeah, so Cosmo is a Persian. He's a flat-faced cat, and he's kind of derpy, but he's like super cute. And so that reminds me of Cosmo, who's like kind of derpy, but also super sweet and cute.
I love
So
that. So
yeah,
you're gonna
so
dye
he's
him green is
close.
the real question.
No.
Don't think he'd appreciate it.
No. He is shaved right now, but he's
He
like really long hair.
I'm glad he's short haired. He like was shedding when I first got him, stopped. Started shedding so bad, like horribly when it like the seasons were changing when it was like becoming warm again. Then he's hasn't shed like at all in like a couple months. And as I was petting him, he was like bothering me. He really wanted attention earlier, so I was petting him while I was talking to you, and I looked at my hand. And if you go and check the VOD, you'll see me like look at my hand a few times. It is covered in hair. I'm like, I guess we have to start combing you again.
Oh no, it's
So
that time.
I guess he's now deciding he wants to shed again. I've noticed more cat hair, but I thought I was going crazy. He's kind of he's pretty good for the most part. He's kind of a brat when he doesn't get attention, but besides that, he's good.
Some of my cats will just knock stuff off. Like Kilo likes to steal switches. Miso just likes to sit on my desk and like
Mess with things.
yeah.
I
And
did have
Cosmo's
to.
the only good one.
I did have to. Train him not to go on my main desk, like the one in front of me, and it's actually worked. I'm shell shocked. I didn't. I have to thank Konami because I would bother her because she has a vet friend on anything I would have like cat related. But it did work because at first, like I would eat at my desk, I'd have to kick him out because he'd keep coming over trying to eat it. Now I'll leave him there. He won't touch my food. He won't come on my desk. The only time he steps on here is if he's sitting in my lap and he wants to get over here. He has to climb over. But he almost that took some work. He chewed through a micro USB cable and my earbuds that I would use for my PlayStation. I got pissed.
No.
So after that, I'm like, I don't even care about the cords. It's like you can't like you're gonna hurt yourself. But then he started messing with like my space cable that I had just gotten. Like I saw he was kind of swatting at it. I'm like, oh no, we are not playing this game. If you ruin one of the braided cables, we're gonna have issues. But
My cats are really smart.
issues. He's smarter than he looks. He's like he's figuring things out for. I think he's 3 years old, is what we're saying.
Yeah, my cats know not to come on my desk when I'm in here, but when I'm not in here, it's like
It's free game.
Yeah, because I come in here like the next day and there's like little cat paws all over my desk.
He is now learned. He has just realized association. So I have a bag of treats in my room that I typically give him during stream and like whenever, and I have a massive box full of treats in the closet in my living room. And recently we haven't given him those kind of treats in a while. The only time we give him those treats is when we're trying to bribe him so we can get him to clip his nails, and we give him one after. The last time we tried to clip his nails, we got the box out, and he literally sprinted under my bed. We didn't see him the whole day. He has learned that when those treats come out, he's getting his nails clipped, and he's just dashing. He's getting out of there.
Oh
so
my god.
We have somehow negatively reinforced treats. And I didn't think it was possible. I'm honestly surprised. We have made treats a bad thing. What?
Yeah, like Miso's strong enough that if the door is like not closed all the way, she knows how to like stick her hand underneath and pull it open.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
I leave my door cracked. I never close my door all the way, especially when I sleep now. He's definitely like figured out from the outside, like if the door's like cracked, he like knows how to like at least get it open with his head. Which I don't think takes not that much brains, but I don't know. I don't have much of a frame of reference with cats. He was the first pet I've ever had besides a goldfish when I was 9.
Yeah, so back when we lived in Boston, Miso would either open the door, like sticking her paw underneath, and sometimes I feel like she knew how to turn the door handle because it was one of the like long ones, not just like the circle one. Because I would see her like reach up and like pull at the handle right? I'm pretty sure she taught herself how to open doors that way. Because sometimes I would get home and like the door would be open. I was like, I don't remember opening that. But
Just
then I
figured it
watched
out.
her. Yeah, like I watched her just like reach up and like reach the handle. I don't know if she's playing or if like she actually knows how to open it, but she definitely knows how to like brute force open like the door.
Cats, cats are like. I was gonna say like we're lucky they don't have thumbs or like opposable thumbs, but who was Custom Niches was telling me he's like I watched my cat hold a pen, and I realized that this is the beginning of the end. He's like they're learning because his has like thumbs, like thumbs.
Oh, like Polly. It's like
Yeah,
yeah.
he he's got mittens and that's about it, right? Right. Ah, but we are getting to the end here. Does anyone have any other questions for Miss Patty? But while they come in, Patty, is there anything you got going on? Any movies you're starring in soon?
Movies? No.
any
I
any
did
any?
just go ahead.
Oh no, go.
No, nothing exciting. I did watch the latest Eva. Do you watch anime? Are you into anime?
Oh, I am aggressively into anime. I need to watch Evangelion. It's on my list. Was it good
Yeah,
though? The movie?
I liked it a lot, and I didn't like the original series at all.
Really?
Yeah,
My one of my good friends. I am in fact a huge. I'm currently at the back end of Dressrosa. Did you watch One Piece? We've talked about One Piece in my
yeah.
chat before.
I knew you liked One Piece, but I wasn't sure like the
It took
scope.
it took me like 5 years of being really into anime to finally jump into One Piece. It took some time for me to commit, and I'm glad I did though. Are you caught up or
On which one?
One Piece?
No,
Okay.
I stopped watching it a few years ago. I'm just waiting for the right time to like, you know.
Apparently, right now is a really good because that's what's like really pushing me to get through it. Because apparently, these last like 30 episodes have been like movie quality, and that's all I need to hear. Um, all I hear in a stream is One Piece and JoJo. Okay, so I have my stream. I usually have a series that I watch at home exclusively, which is before it was a variety. Now it's exclusively One Piece because, well, 1,000 episodes. And then I have a subway show because it takes me about 25 minutes to get to work one way, 25 back. So I'll usually download shows to watch to and from, and that's been JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which I am now in part 4 of, and it's still the most. I don't know what to say about this show. It's a lot in the best way.
Yeah, I think I remember I was in California and I was with Jody, and you had just messaged him about something, and then Jody showed me. It was like, oh, that's Manoli.
I text anytime because Kimchi's the only person that like I talk to like frequently enough that has watched JoJo. So I just texted my reactions to everything. Like I finished part 3 and I cried. I was so sad. There was like the last like 8 episodes are some of the heaviest shit I've ever watched in anime. For such a weird, stupid show, I was so upset. Do you have a favorite anime?
Favorite, I think it's probably Yu Yu Hakusho.
Okay,
More recent is probably Mob Psycho.
I love. Have you seen what's happening with Mob Psycho right now with their
Mm-mm,
Twitter account? They've
mm-mm.
been counting up by using screenshots. Like so, it'll be like 0, and it'll show like a 0 on his shirt, and it's like 1. Someone's like holding up the number 1, and they're on like 44 or something. And everyone thinks when they get to 100, it's gonna be the new season, like season 3, like trailer or something, or season 3 opening maybe. So I think we're about to get a new season of Mob Psycho. It's very. They've been doing it every day now for like 44 days.
Dude, I hope so. I love Mob Psycho.
That was actually my last. That was my technically second to last because I started Samurai Champloo before COVID, but it's the last Subway series that I finished before COVID hit. I would watch that on my Subway rides, and I remember I was coming home from a work event, kind of buzzed, and I finished it like the last 2 episodes on the ride home, and I remember just thinking, I'm like, that was pretty good. I like that. And then like the next like week, I'm like, why am I still thinking about this show nonstop? And like I realized like how much I actually love the Mob Psycho. Like
Yeah,
just
it's amazing.
it's the cutest show ever. It's like I don't. It's perfect. Like I just want to hug him. Oh God, we could go on about this. Is like a conversation that like me and Kimchi literally spent 45 minutes of his interview just talking about JoJo and other anime. And it's maybe I do an episode where I just get on like all the weebs in the keyboard hobby and we just talk about anime for as long as possible.
That sounds right for Kimchi at least.
We'll have people come and go. Ugh, but Patty, thank you so much for coming on here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Oh yeah,
Sorry it took me so long.
No, you're good. No, seriously, you're fine. Honestly, you saved me a lot of stress because I was like rushing like 50 different things. My room's a war zone right now, so I was like in the middle of like running around doing things. So you honestly bought me some time. But yeah, guys, it's XinXinWong on everything, correct? I don't know if there's anything different. Guys, please go follow her on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. I meant to say Twitter, but you are on TikTok.
Yeah,
and of course Twitch. Please go follow her on Twitch. Do you have any? When are you streaming next?
Probably WoW Raids Thursday, and then I have a 7V, Mode 80, and the Crow World 80 this week.
Ooh, are they all this week?
Yeah, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Those are like 3 sick builds back to back to back. I will definitely. I'm going to try my best to at least be there for one of the. Oh my God, what was the first one? Help me. I literally
7V.
just. Yes, I will try to be. Do you know what you're building with the 7V?
I have no clue, honestly.
That's still exciting. I built some packs with black cherry pies, and I was pissed that it was his. I did not want him to keep. I was like, I get it now. Like I was typing on it, I'm like, I understand why everyone has been talking about this board with such aggression.
Yeah, I think he got it from the extra drop too.
He did.
That was a war.
That was like a bad. I wanted to go for him. That was when I was in between jobs, and I'm like, I cannot be spending money right now. What an idiot. What an idiot sandwich. Should have gone for it. Except they like were pretty instant. I'm pretty sure, right? I feel like they sold out. That was like GGs for almost everybody.
Yeah, I think especially the Navy one went by so fast.
The Navy one was probably my favorite. I'm always a sucker for blue though. All right though. Miss Patty, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
I'd like to have you on again sometime. Maybe the anime episode. I want to do an episode on records where we just like I know a few people on here that like want to just like talk about records, and I need to do an episode on just weeb talk.
Jody and I might yell at each other though. We both have pretty hot takes, so.
Okay, so I have to get you both on here. Then is what you're telling me. Like it has to be.
I'm telling you, you might see me more heated than ever before.
What is you heated like?
I don't know. You my jacket.
You know what? We'll see. You know what? We'll see. This will be fun. We'll see. I think everyone has their fair share of hot takes, so it could be interesting. I'll have to pick a fourth person and set it up, and we can do it.
I just get so mad when you spend so much time in an anime, and it's like really, really good, and then at the end just sucks. Like they can't finish.
What anime? Are you talking about you have to be talking about a specific one.
The first one that comes to mind is Eva.
Okay. My buddy said the same thing. He hasn't watched the movies yet. He just watched the show. He's like, it would have been my favorite anime ever, but I hated the ending.
Yeah, and then there's one more. It was a tennis one.
Is it King of the Court or something?
Stars Align.
Oh, never mind. I'm thinking like an old one. Oh, Prince of Tennis. There was like an OG. That was like an OG anime. That was what I was thinking of.
That one was good though. Prince of Tennis. No, it was Stars Align because the company at the time ran out of budgeting, so it just had like an abrupt ending, and
That is the worst.
Oh God, have you ever been like blue balled for like 12 weeks straight?
The one anime I can think of was I might get heat for this. Tokyo Ghoul set me up with such high expectations.
Oh,
For like season 1, I liked season 1. Season 2 of Tokyo Ghoul specifically was like there were some good parts, but I also like lost a lot of interest. Like it was like the story jumped around a lot. I got very confused. They were cutting out parts, and then Tokyo Ghoul Re was just I heard the manga's. I heard the manga's incredible. The anime just got butchered.
I actually dropped Tokyo Ghoul halfway through the second season because I was like,
The first season I think is like incredible. I actually adore the first season. It's just everything after that, step by step, got worse. Like substantially, each season got worse.
Don't get Patty started on anime. Yeah, I get pretty upset because there's also Wonder Egg Priority.
Oh no, is that bad? I heard it was so good. Is it bad?
It's like the same thing as like Eva. They like it's. Just watch it.
It's on my. I'll send you my list. It's very extensive right now. Oh no, the one that I'll end it on this. The one that absolutely crushed me. I was so invested in Seven Deadly Sins, and holy fuck, season 3. I'm not. It's not even just the anime. The animation's as bad as everyone said. I was like, cause I was like committed to watching it dubbed because that's just how I watched the first 2 seasons. So I waited forever, avoided spoilers for so long, like a year and a half before Netflix got the dub. I got literally like halfway through. First off, and I'm like, there's no way the animation's as bad as they say. The animation was worse than what they said, and people did not have nice things to say. It was worse than what they said. I never finished it. I got halfway through season 3 when like Meliodas like passed out. Like after like I don't know, spoilers, I don't give a shit. Season 3 spoilers. If anyone's really invested in Seven Deadly Sins, I don't know why he would be at this point. When him and Escanor fought, it was like right after that when they're both passed out. I'm like, I cannot watch this show anymore. I cut my losses. I'm like, that's it. I'm done.
I watched the whole thing up to the current season.
Is it even kind of worth it?
No.
That's all I need to hear. That is all I need to hear. God, man, it was brutal. Like season 2 was great, and then like shit.
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch anime and then like I'll watch a bad episode or like the season ending, and I'll just like start yelling at the TV. And Connor will be like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, I'm so fucking pissed. Like, what the shit? You know? I get so invested, I get so mad, and it carries over to stream. The next day, I'm like, I watched the ending of this anime, and it was absolute dog shit. And like, my chat would just be like, "All right, Patty, like, it's okay."
It's brutal. It's just simply brutal. I listen. I understand, and like, I always think like I have a lot of expectations for anime. Like, I'm like very forgiving of a lot of anime, but that is like. When I get disappointed, man, you know it's bad. But for the 50th time, we keep just hooking us back in. Patty, thank you so much for coming on here, especially on short notice. I really appreciate it. Everyone, please follow Miss XinXinWong on everything. Am I pronouncing that right, by the way?
XinXin, yeah.
XinXinWong. Please follow her on everything. Exactly as it says underneath. Same as her Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Do you still post on TikTok?
Yeah, occasionally.
I'm like trying to get back to it. It's a whole other thing. It's brutal. It's very frustrating.
I hate it. I'm too boomer.
I am very boomer. I was like in it for a minute, and now I'm just boomer. But as we wrap it up, guys, we are going to go raid. Speaking of Mr. Kimchi Jody Boy, he's building a house. Everyone, please go show him some love. You said you're going to be streaming again Thursday?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
World of Warcraft raids, and then Thursday through Sunday, it sounds like. 3 World of Warcraft, then 3 very exciting builds. Make sure you check it out. I was planning on streaming tomorrow, but I think I'm going to be just doing a double, like lubing and prepping my switches, and then building the Ramakara on Thursday. I'll probably be starting earlier than usual, probably around 7 p.m. Eastern, for anyone who'd like to join in. I'd rather watch Miss Patty play World of Warcraft, though, for being honest. But Let's go show Kimchi some love. Like I said, Patty, it means the world. We'll talk soon. Definitely need to get you back on here. It's got to be. I'm gonna have to find the fourth. It's gonna have to be an anime episode, especially like Shoobs would be good. Oh, is this how we get the first Shoobs face reveal? This could be. I was saying this. I wish Shoobs would get the VR setup with like his dog avatar, so he's still like on camera, but he's not. Shoobs would be good. All right, maybe I reach out. Maybe I reach out to Shoobs and see. Even if it's just the dog on there, that'd be even better. But everyone, please go show Mr. Kimchi Jody Boy some love. Give him a big fat kiss. And yeah, give him a follow, and follow Miss Patty. And I don't know. You don't have to follow me if you're here. That's enough.
No, you should follow him.
No. All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you all for being here. Good night, Miss Patty. And as always, mwah. Cheers, my friends. I will see you all Thursday. Bye, guys. Go show Kimchi some love.